if there is like a support group for reality TV fans who have just watched their absolute dream season turn into a literal flaming garbage fire at the 11th hour, sign me up. Like, send me the Zoom link immediately and pour me a double. Good morning, babes.
Good morning.
By the time you hear this, it will almost be the weekend. So, babes, happy early weekend. But honestly, I am high-key spiraling.
Oh, we are in a full-blown spiral.
Totally. The Survivor 50 finale is next week, and I am not okay. Like, we are entirely, fundamentally not okay.
It is a full-blown crisis. I mean, I am trying to maintain my composure for the Snark squad, but my left eye has been twitching since the credits rolled.
I noticed that.
It is bad. And honestly, May is officially the most emotionally abusive month of the television calendar. It is a month of finales.
It is the worst.
We just lost 7 Little Johnsons, which devastated me.
Right.
A hunting party wrapped up. Hope Valley is gone. Every single one of my emotional support shows is just like dissolving into the ether one by one.
Yeah.
And now this Survivor bloodbath, it feels targeted.
It really does. It feels like a personal attack. Why do finales absolutely wreck us?
I don't know, but they do.
You spend months, literally months, attaching your entire nervous system to a TV schedule. Tuesday nights mean this, Wednesday nights mean that, and then boom, the season ends, and there's this weird, hollow emptiness in your living room. Like, what are we supposed to do now? Talk to our family?
Oh my God, no.
Read a book? Absolutely not.
I refuse to acknowledge reality without a buffer, which is exactly why the creamy pineapple lemonade is officially on deck.
Yes, it is.
It is poured, it is frosted, and it is currently being aggressively consumed by both of us. Cheers, bestie.
Cheers.
And yes, Snark Squad, it is heavily rum-spiked. We are not raw-dogging this deep dive.
Oh my God, that is absurdly good. Wait, how much rum did you actually put in yours?
Like a very generous pour. A vacation pour.
A vacation pour. I love that. Why does anything with pineapple immediately make you feel like you are tax exempt and living on a private island?
It really does. It just rewires your brain.
It totally does. Vacation drinks hit an entirely different quadrant of the brain than normal drinks. Like, a Tuesday night Pinot Grigio is just for survival.
Exactly.
But a blended rum pineapple lemonade, that is for healing deep emotional damage. I am already mentally on a beach.
Blended drinks literally change your cellular structure, which, funny enough, before we started recording, I realized this exact drink tastes identical to the ones we had on that chaotic couples trip to Mexico 3 years ago.
Stop! Oh my God, the swim-up bar.
Yes. Remember the swim-up bar? The sunburns? The absolute melodrama of that entire week?
How could I possibly forget? That trip was the absolute peak of vacation chaos. I got sunburned on the tops of my feet on day one.
Which is the worst place to get burned.
It is. I didn't even know it was anatomically possible to burn there. I was walking like a penguin for 4 days. And then the airport stress on the way back.
Oh, the duty-free incident.
Yes. My partner and I had a full-blown whispering argument at the duty-free shop because he wanted to buy a massive fragile glass bottle of tequila.
Men are so ridiculous on vacation.
They really are. I was like, are you carrying that on your lap for a 6-hour flight? No. You're going to drop it, it will shatter, and we will smell like a frat house.
Couples fighting while traveling is honestly a universal love language.
Yeah.
Like, my partner decided the ultimate romantic excursion was a 5-hour jungle hike in 90% humidity.
Oh, absolutely not.
Right. Completely ignoring the fact that my preferred vacation activity is lying perfectly still on a lounge chair while someone brings me fried food.
Yes. Just bring me coconut shrimp and leave me alone.
Exactly. But honestly, sipping this drink, I genuinely think we might need to take a besties trip to Fiji. Just the two of us. We can go to the exact islands and play our own version of Survivor for exactly 1 day.
Oh, for research purposes only, obviously. It's method acting, babes. We have to understand what the players are going through for the deep dive.
Purely academic.
But let's be brutally honest here. If we actually stepped onto that beach, who is quitting first? I feel like I would make it through the first afternoon purely on adrenaline. But the second the sun goes down and the bugs come out, I am literally crying for an Uber. Can you even order a water taxi in the Mamanuca Islands?
Probably not. But I would absolutely be the first to quit, and I'd do it with zero shame.
Really? You'd think you'd beat me to the quit.
Oh, 100%. You might last 24 hours because you're incredibly stubborn.
That is fair.
But the moment I realized there is no iced coffee and no chilled wine to take the edge off the tribal paranoia, I'm pulling a Jeff Probst and snuffing my own torch.
Snuffing your own torch.
I would just look at the camera and say, the tribe has spoken and the tribe wants a matcha latte. I am out.
Which is tragic because tomorrow it is right back to our actual reality.
Don't remind me.
Both of us are back at our dental offices. The tropical fantasy dies at exactly 7:30 in the morning. So what are your highs and lows for the upcoming workday? Because I am already mentally drafting my resignation letter.
Oh, same. My low is definitely the midweek exhaustion. Like, by Thursday, the fluorescent lights in the clinic start feeling like actual physical assaults on my retinas.
They are so aggressive.
And the coworker chaos is literally peaking right now. The front desk is in a full-blown feud with the hygienists over the break room fridge etiquette.
Wait, what happened with the fridge?
Someone keeps moving the almond milk to the back where it freezes, and passive-aggressive sticky notes are being deployed. It is a mess. I'm just trying to mentally survive until Friday at 5 without taking a side.
That is toxic. You need an immunity idol for the break room.
I really do. My height, I get to order a fancy salad for lunch. That's it. That's the absolute peak of my week.
That is so bleak, babes, but so relatable. Dealing with my 10 a.m. root canal patient is going to take actual survivor-level endurance, which brings us perfectly to the actual tragedy of the week.
Let's get into it.
We have to get into this recap because the Snark squad needs to process what just happened. We just watched the penultimate episode of Survivor 50, episode 12, titled Inconceivable.
Such a fitting title.
Right. And babes, we are looking at a competitive landscape that is honestly a graveyard of titans.
It's a total subversion of the standard narrative funnel. Usually you start with this massive cast, and the fat gets trimmed over weeks until you have this epic heavyweight clash at the end.
Exactly. The big dogs fighting it out.
But instead, the heavyweights all formed a circular firing squad and took each other out, leaving us with a final five that feels like an alternate dimension. I mean, Reddit is in absolute shambles right now.
Shambles.
But to really understand why the internet is having an absolute meltdown, we have to look at the two massive craters left by the back-to-back eliminations of Rick Devens and Siri Fields.
We have to. Let's start with the first crater, the demise of the news anchor himself, Rick Devens.
Poor Devens.
So, going into the final 7, Devens knows he is the dead man walking. The writing is painted in neon across the Manulevu camp. He's up at dawn, frantically searching for an idol, turning over every single log on the beach.
The desperation was palpable.
It really was. And there's this incredibly heavy, humid scene where he's just sitting in the hammock with Joe Hunter. He literally tells Joe, "My whole brand is relentless positivity, and I am out of it."
Watching that mask flip was visceral. Like, Devens is usually the guy giving these bombastic, theatrical confessionals. He's playing to the camera.
Always.
But in that hammock, you saw the actual psychological weight of a 39-day game just crashing down on him.
It broke my heart.
Being the universal target means every time you walk up to the fire, the conversation stops. Every time you go to the well, someone is tailing you. It's a form of social torture.
Social torture is the perfect way to describe it.
And then on top of all that, he loses that wobbly table immunity challenge to Joe.
Oh my God, let's talk about that challenge. It is pure anxiety-inducing television.
I was holding my breath the entire time.
You have to balance a wobbly platform using a rope while stacking wooden blocks that spell out the word immunity. It is all micro movements, like one deep breath and your stack falls.
And his stack fell so many times.
So many times. Devens drops his stack right at the end, Joe wins, and Devens just knows it's over. He goes to tribal council, makes this beautiful, poetic exit speech about looking up at the stars in Fiji, representing loved ones looking down.
I cried. I literally teared up.
I know. Then he plays his shot in the dark and gets voted out unanimously, 6-0.
But wait, let's break down the actual mechanics of what drove that unanimous vote.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just his charm that got him eliminated. The irony of Devens' exit is that he was completely unarmed.
Completely empty-handed.
Right. He played his shot in the dark, and for anyone who needs a quick refresher, the shot in the dark is the ultimate desperation move. You forfeit your right to vote in exchange for pulling a scroll out of a bag.
And it's like a 1 in 6 chance of being safe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You only do that if with absolute certainty that no one is throwing you a lifeline.
And no one would.
Yeah.
But this is the wildest part of the whole deep dive today. Devens was a victim of a phantom reputation.
The phantom idol.
Yes. Earlier in the season, Christian Hubicki painted this absolute masterpiece of paranoia. He convinced the entire beach that Devens was this unstoppable, magical, idol-finding machine.
It was brilliant on Christian's part.
It was genius, and everyone bought it. They quarantined Devens.
They absolutely quarantined him. But the joke is on all of them. Because Devens didn't find a single idol in the wild this entire post-merge.
Not one.
The only advantage he ever possessed was the idol publicly gifted to him by Mr. Beast during that insane, chaotic promotional tribal council.
Which he was forced to play immediately anyway.
Exactly. So he was playing entirely from behind, trying to leverage a threat level that was built entirely on a bluff.
So the other players were just too terrified of his imaginary arsenal to actually work with him. Like, nobody would even talk strategy with him because they thought he had 3 idols in his pocket.
It's wild gameplay. They voted him out purely on legacy fear.
Pure legacy fear. But while Devens' exit makes logical sense, like, obviously you take out the charismatic guy who everyone loves, the second elimination of the night is what actually broke my brain.
I am still not over it.
Let's unpack the fall of Siri Fields, the greatest player to never win.
The word inconceivable doesn't even cover what happened here. We get to the final 6. Tiffany Irvin, who has suddenly remembered she is a collegiate athlete, wins this brutal obstacle course and arch puzzle.
Out of nowhere.
Truly out of nowhere.
Yeah?
And with Rizo Velovich sitting on a known hidden immunity idol, suddenly Siri becomes the default target. She gets voted out 4-2. But babes, the lead up to that vote is a masterclass in desperation.
It was so stressful to watch. Siri realizes her goose is cooked, and she engages in full-blown survivor jujitsu.
Jujitsu is the only word for it.
Right. Riso, who has been her little loyal informant all season, comes to her and says, "Hey, it's you. The vote is on you." And Siri doesn't just accept it. She immediately goes to Jonathan Young and tries to flip the script by lying straight to his massive, muscular face.
She really did.
She tells Jonathan that Aubrey Bracco was the one who actually leaked an earlier plan to vote out Tiffany.
We have to look at the psychology as how she tried to pull this off, though. Siri is trying to protect Rizo, who is her only real ally left, while painting a massive target on Aubrey.
Yes.
And why does she go to Jonathan with this lie? Because Jonathan's entire gameplay is built on risk aversion and extreme loyalty.
He will not make a move without permission.
Exactly. He will not make a move unless he feels the entire tribe is moving together. Siri is actively trying to poison the well. She wants Jonathan to feel like Aubrey is a rogue agent who disrupts the camp consensus.
Exactly. But here is where I am going to push back on Siri's legacy for a second because I am heated about this.
Oh, I know you are. Let's hear it.
This entire situation at the final 6 is her own fault.
Is it, though?
Yes. Let's use a chess analogy. In chess, you sometimes sacrifice a pawn to save a knight, right? You give up a low-value piece to protect your heavy hitters. At the final 7, Rick Devens was the biggest, shiniest, most distracting shield on that beach. By going along with the easy 6-0 consensus vote to get rid of Devens, Siri didn't sacrifice a pawn. She sacrificed her own knight.
You're arguing she should have blown up the Devens vote to target someone smaller.
Yes, absolutely. She should have rallied the votes against Rizzo or Joe at Final 7. As long as Devens is in the game, everybody is staring at Devens. He is a universal heatsink.
He absorbs all the target energy.
Exactly. The second Devens is gone, who is the biggest target left on the board, it's Siri. By letting him go, she left herself completely exposed. She had nowhere to hide at Final 6.
I see the logic. I really do. But the reality of the new era game is much more punishing than that. Think about where Siri's head was at.
Okay, where was her head?
I was listening to Rob and Steven over on RHAP, and they made this brilliant point. In the previous episode, Ozzy Lust, who Siri had anchored her entire post-merge game, to spectacularly blew up his own spot.
Oh, Ozzy, he literally spilled his own blindside plans to Aubrey.
Exactly. Ozzy goes home because of his own mistake. So Siri is suddenly unmoored. She's angry, she's scrambled, and she's looking for a new center of gravity.
So she latches on to Rizzo.
Exactly. She assumed she had this young kid completely wrapped around her finger. When Tiffany floated the idea of flushing Rizzo's idol at Final 7, Siri fought behind the scenes to protect him.
Which was her fatal error.
She pushed the vote onto Devens because she thought she was securing Rizzo's undying loyalty for the Final 6. Her mistake wasn't just voting out Devens. Her mistake was vastly miscalculating Rizzo's loyalties.
You totally misread him.
She didn't realize he was playing the middle and would happily throw her under the bus 24 hours later just to save himself.
It's a devastating misread by literally one of the best social players in reality TV history. But babes, zooming out from Siri's specific mistake, this brings us to the core reason why the internet is currently setting itself on fire.
Meta strategy.
The lions versus hyenas dynamic.
It's Tony Vlachis' famous theory come to life, and it's playing out flawlessly. The lions are the massive, visible, front-facing threats.
Ozzy, Siri, Devens, Christian, Emily.
Exactly. They dictate the pace. They They make the big moves. The hyenas are the quieter players. They aren't driving the bus. They were just sitting quietly in the back row, trying not to make eye contact with a driver.
And what we just watched over the last 12 episodes was a season where the lions just couldn't stop eating each other.
It was a bloodbath of legends.
Christian targeted Devens. Ozzy got blindsided by a coalition of big threats. Siri took out Devens. They were so obsessed with building their own resumes by slaying other giants that they completely cleared the path for the hyenas.
They literally did all the dirty work for the hyenas.
Yeah, they paved the road for the hyenas to just scavenge their way to the finale.
It's tragic irony. But we have to look at the mechanics of the format itself. Is it really the player's fault? Or is it the structure of a massive 24-player season?
This is exactly what I was yelling at the TV last night.
I know you were. You texted me in all caps.
I was so mad. Think about a 10,000-meter track race. It's a grueling marathon, right? If you sprint to the front of the pack on the very first lap and try to lead the race, you are taking all the wind resistance.
You are catching all the drag.
You are doing all the physical work. You are inevitably going to burn out before the final lap. In a 24-player season, you have to survive 19 tribal councils. 19.
That is an insane amount of tribals.
It is mathematically impossible to maintain a high threat level for that long without getting caught. You have to draft behind the leaders. You have to let them take the wind.
And if you look at Australian Survivor, which runs these massive 24-player seasons constantly, the data completely backs you up.
Thank you.
Those massive casts heavily, almost exclusively, reward quiet, under-the-radar gameplay. Sticking your neck out on day 10 of a 39-day, 24-player game is a literal death sentence.
Because there is too much game left.
Exactly. The math was stacked against the Lions from the moment they jumped off the boat. The format itself breeds hyenas.
So now we are left with a den of hyenas. And if we want to be responsible podcasters, which is a stretch after this rum lemonade, we have to actually evaluate the final 5.
We have to do our jobs.
We have to figure out who among these scavengers actually played the best game. Let's start with Aubrey Bracco, because the edit is aggressively telling us she is the strategic mastermind of the season.
Oh, the edit is working overtime for Aubrey. She's taking on-camera credit for orchestrating the Aussie blindside, and she's shown explicitly putting the target on Siri.
But is she actually running the board? Because I don't know if I buy it.
Well, according to Stephen Fishback's analysis, her storyline is giving very strong Marianne Oketch from season 42 vibes.
Okay, break that down for me and the Snark squad.
So both Aubrey and Marianne had early season edits that were heavily negatively coded. Like they were shown as mopey, struggling with the elements, or slightly annoying to their tribe mates.
All right, the early struggles.
Then they both laid incredibly low during the messy middle of the merge, just completely under the radar. And then boom, final 6 hits, and they have this explosive strategic awakening where they take out the dominant mastermind.
For Marianne, it was Omar.
Yes, and for Aubrey, it's Siri.
It's the classic late bloomer winners edit, but I am inherently suspicious of it. Is Aubrey the grandmaster, or is she just the corporate middle manager taking credit for the group project?
Oh, that is a read.
Because let's look at how the Siri vote actually came together on the beach. Aubrey plants the seed, sure, we saw that, but Rizzo is the one who actually goes to Jonathan.
Rizzo does all the talking.
Rizzo uses his position as the information broker to validate Aubrey's narrative. He does the interpersonal legwork. Is Aubrey just getting artificially inflated by the producers so we have a palatable winner?
It's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Which brings us right to the Riz God himself, Rizzo Velovich.
The Riz God.
The guy has essentially held a loaded gun, his hidden immunity idol, for 30 consecutive episodes spanning back to his original season. It's unprecedented. He's the ultimate information broker.
He is, but his social capital is literally in the gutter.
In the absolute trash.
Aubrey explicitly tells us in a confessional that Rizzo is viewed as an annoying, cocky kid who doesn't pull his weight around camp. And in Survivor, perception is reality.
100%.
You can play a perfect tactical game, you can have all the idols, but if the jury thinks you're a brat who wouldn't help collect firewood, they're not writing your name on a $1 million check.
Never. He is giving pure Romeo from season 42 or Xander from season 41. Tactical awareness, flawless. He sees the board perfectly. Jury respect, absolute zero.
He's perceived as a passenger who genuinely thinks he's driving the car, which transitions us to the rest of the pack. What is the deal with Tiffany Irvin?
Tiffany is so fascinating because she was practically invisible for the first half of the season. I mean, I literally forgot she was on the beach.
I thought she got eliminated in episode 3.
Right. But suddenly, she wins 3 individual immunities, including that brutal arch puzzle, while 4 people are actively colluding against her on the sidelines.
That was iconic.
And now, out of nowhere, Aubrey is calling her Michelle 2.0, referencing Michelle Fitzgerald's legendary social game. She's a hidden physical threat with a quietly lethal social game.
She might just sneak away with this. And then you have Jonathan Young, who is playing the most old-school, straightforward game imaginable.
So old school.
He's the consensus builder. He refuses to write a name down unless the entire HOA board has signed off on it in triplicate.
She needs a permit to vote.
He does. It's reliable, but his glaring flaw is that he is absolutely doomed to lose the Final Four fire-making challenge.
Because of his size.
Because of his archetype. And the irony is he might have to make fire against Joe Hunter, who is a literal real-life firefighter.
Stop it. It's true.
The poetic tragedy of a giant losing a fire-making challenge to a literal firefighter is just too much for me to handle. Speaking of Joe, let's talk about the fallen hero.
I was Boy. He won the wobbly table immunity. He's the last member of the Scylla tribe standing. But his narrative arc this season is so bleak.
It really is depressing.
In season 48, he was the golden boy. He was the hero of the beach. Now, he is universally viewed as the ultimate GOAT.
Nobody respects his game.
Nobody. His old school, let's just survive the elements and catch fish mentality clashes so horribly with this hyper-strategic new era game.
It doesn't translate anymore. So we have a heavily edited mastermind, an unrespected tactical broker, a hidden challenge beast, an old-school loyalist, and a fallen hero turned GOAT.
What a lineup.
The producers know this final 5 is a really tough pill to swallow for the audience, which is why they are actively deploying narrative damage control in the edit.
Oh, they're totally spoon-feeding us.
Right. They deliberately showed us Aubrey calling Rizzo a goat and Tiffany a massive threat. They are front-loading all this exposition so that when the finale happens, the audience isn't confused.
They are telegraphing exactly why certain players can't win just to prevent a fan riot on Twitter.
But they didn't just stop at editing tricks.
Oh, the C Award.
Yes. Jeff Probst literally looked directly into the camera and announced the return of the Sia Fan Favorite Award. Fans can go online right now and vote to give $100,000 of a pop star's money to their favorite player.
Babes, from a production standpoint, this is diabolical genius.
Diabolical.
It is the ultimate pressure valve. The fans are devastated watching Siri and Devens go down. We are mourning the Lions. But by introducing the C Award right at the peak of our frustration, production gives us agency.
It's a distraction.
Totally. You're mad the Lions lost. Fine. Go financially reward Christian or Devens yourself. It gives the audience a sense of justice that the actual game mechanics denied them.
It's a brilliant consolation prize. It keeps us engaged without fixing the actual game. But babes, before we wrap up this emotional roller coaster of a deep dive, we promised the Snark Squad some specific segments to really process this mess.
Yes, let's get into the segments.
Okay, let's dive into segment 1. Who would survive a real island? Out of this final 5, if the cameras turned off and Jeff Probst flew away in a helicopter, who's actually surviving out there?
Oh, this is easy. Joe, obviously.
Really? Just Joe?
Yes. He's the firefighter. He knows how to build a shelter that won't collapse in a light breeze. Aubrey would try to strategize with the coconuts.
She would be making alliances with the crabs.
Exactly. Rizzo would complain about the lack of Wi-Fi. And Jonathan would be waiting for a consensus on whether they should drink water. Joe was the only one actually surviving a real island scenario.
That is a very fair point. I can't even argue with that. Okay, segment 2. Biggest survivor delusion. Who thinks they're playing a mastermind game, but is absolutely drawing dead with the jury?
It has to be Rizzo.
Oh, 100% Rizzo.
He is sitting on that idol like it's the one ring from Lord of the Rings, convinced it makes him the undisputed king of the beach.
But he has alienated everyone socially.
Right. He thinks he's Tony Flacco's, but he's really just playing a game of hide-and-seek entirely by himself.
I actually think it might be Aubrey, though.
Wait, really? Aubrey?
Yes. Think about it. Yes, the edit tells us she's the mastermind. But if she gets to the end and tries to claim credit for all these moves that Rizzo and Tiffany actually executed on the ground, a bitter jury might absolutely shred her in the final Q&A.
Oh, that would be amazing television.
Right. If she overstates her resume, they will tear her apart. Okay, segment 3. Who would we trust least? If we were on that island right now, who is betraying us first?
You know my answer.
Let me guess, Rizzo.
Rizzo. The guy is an information sponge. You tell him a secret at the water well, and before you've even taken a sip from your canteen, he sold that secret to 3 different people for a slightly better spot in the shelter.
He would sell us out for a handful of rice.
I wouldn't trust him to watch my shoes while I swam.
See, I wouldn't trust Jonathan.
Jonathan, the loyalist.
Hear me out. He's so obsessed with consensus that the second the majority of the tribe decides they want to blindside you, he won't even warn you.
Oh, that is a good point.
He'll just nod along with the groupthink. The silent betrayal is the deadliest. You would walk into tribal council thinking he has your back, and he's just voting with the mob.
Ooh, valid. Okay, final segment. Segment 4. Snark Side Survivor.
My favorite segment.
If you and I were on a season together, what is our alliance name? And realistically, how long do we last before one of us turns on the other?
Okay, well, our alliance name is definitely the coping mechanisms.
Obviously.
And we would absolutely dominate the pre-merge purely by gossiping about everyone else in the shelter.
Oh, we would run the social game.
But the second we hit the merge and individual immunity is on the line, I am writing your name down, bestie.
Wow.
Nothing personal, strictly business. I have to build my resume.
The betrayal. But honestly, I'd completely respect it. Though I'd probably play a hidden immunity idol that I secretly found in my makeup bag and send you home with a smile.
As you should. That is how you play the game. So let's bring all of this tropical chaos together.
Let's wrap it up.
We watch a historically brutal double elimination. Devens fell to a phantom reputation, and Siri outplayed herself by misreading the exact hyenas she thought she could control.
And we analyzed the crushing mathematical reality of a 24-player season that essentially forces the biggest legends to cannibalize each other.
And now we have an incredibly messy Final Five heading into next week's finale. But I want to leave you, the Snark Squad, with a lingering question to ponder over the weekend.
Great on them.
Are the producers inadvertently designing a game that destroys its own stars?
That is the real question.
Seriously. If a 24-player cast mathematically guarantees that our favorite, most entertaining personalities get targeted early, does Survivor need to fundamentally rethink its format for future Legends seasons?
They have to.
Are we punishing the very players we tune in to watch just to have a more crowded beach? It feels like we are losing the magic.
It's a massive structural flaw they have to address, but until they do, we will be right here drinking our rum lemonade and judging their life choices from our couches.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to the Snark Squad for hanging out with us today.
We love you guys.
Drop in the comments below. Who is your favorite player this season? What is your dream tropical vacation destination? And most importantly, out of the two of us, who do you honestly think would survive longer on the island?
Be honest in the comments.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss our massive finale breakdown next week. Until then, babes, stay tropical, stay messy, and we will see you on the Snark side.